Tuesday, sometimes I cry. You didn't even say goodbye. Downtown July. Bang, bang. He shot me down. Bang, bang. I hit the ground. Bang, bang. That awful sound. Bang, bang. My baby.
Anybody here?
Hello, Aunt Monica.
Oh, hi, honey.
Mother!
Christine, you said I could have Rhoda for a while, and there's a package for you.
Oh, Monica, you're always the bringer of gifts.
Oh, this one's not for me. It was in the package room.
Oh, for Rhoda from Daddy.
For me?
Oh, not yet. In anticipation of her 11th birthday.
What does anticipation mean?
It means looking forward to.
Not to be opened till.
Oh, it's a long time to wait. But I will.
Isn't she the perfect old-fashioned girl? She'll wait.
Oh, no, there's more in Daddy's writing. Open when you get it. There'll be a real one later.
So then he wants me to open it now?
Yes, it just needs to be slit down the side with scissors.
There's Excelsior. I can see it.
No, Rhoda, you should open it in the kitchen.
Alright.
Oh, I wish I had such a little girl. Every time I look at her, I think, I wish I had just such a little girl like her.
She's not wanted in the Fern school next year.
Why not?
She doesn't fit in. She doesn't play the game. She's a poor sport.
Honestly, the longer I live, the more I see, the less I understand the tight little minds of people like the Fern girls. The truth of the matter is, she's much too clever, much too charming, much too unusual for them. She makes the others look stodgy and stupid by comparison. How about if I keep her up late and have dinner with her tonight?
Oh, could you? I asked Reginald Tasker over for cocktails and to talk about some writing I want to try.
Well, there's no reason for Rhoda to hear about strychnine and belladonnas. Rhoda, here to have dinner with me tonight.
May I bring my new puzzle?
You surely may.
Is that what it was?
It must be the best jigsaw puzzle in the whole world.
Leroy?
Oh, Leroy, there's a lot of Excelsior.
Let him sweep it, dear.
Yeah, surely, ma'am.
No, don't bother to sweep in the kitchen. I'll do it.
It's a map of Asia with all its animals.
Oh. Well, I have an aversion to covers, but I think that's Freudian.
There's an awful lot of that stuff scattered around, Miss Enhart.
Let him sweep it, dear. Now, I shall go upstairs and check on the simmering meat sauce.
Is it spaghetti?
It is. You approve?
My favorite.
Good. We'll come up any time. It must be nearly ready. Yes?
Mrs. Enhart?
Oh, this is her apartment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, is it Daddy?
Not your daddy this time, mine. He's coming here.
Grandfather?
Yes, he'll be here tonight. He can sleep. I think Monica has an extra room. I'll run up and ask her. Be right back.
There she sits. chair. Doing a puzzle. Looking all cute and innocent. Looking like she would melt butter, she's that cool. She fool some people with that innocent look she can put on and she wants to. Not me. No, sir, not even part way she can't fool me. Well, she doesn't want to talk to nobody smart. She likes talking to people she can fool. Like her mama, Miss Breedlove, Mr. Emery.
Go and see the Excelsior. You talk silly all the time. I know what you do with the Excelsior. You made a bed of Excelsior in the basement behind that old couch. And you sleep there where nobody could see you.
I've been way behind the times here before, but now I have got your number. See, I've been hearing things about you that ain't nice. Been hearing, you beat up that poor little clod in the woods. Took all three of the Fern sisters to pull you off him. I heard you run him off the wharf, he was so scared.
If you tell lies like that, you won't go to heaven when you die.
I heard plenty. I listen when people talk. Not like you, who's gabbling all the time, won't let anybody else get a word in edgewise. That's why I know what people are saying, and you don't.
People tell lies all the time, and I think you tell more than anybody else.
I know what you've done to the boy when you got him out on the wharf. You better listen to me. You want to keep out of bad trouble.
What did I do if you know so much?
You picked up a stick. And you hit him with it. Yeah, you hit him because he wouldn't give you that medal like you told him to. Well, I thought I'd seen some mean little girls on my time, but you're the meanest. You want to know how mean you are? It's because I'm mean. I'm smart and I'm mean. You're smart, you're mean, and I never get caught. And you never get caught.
I know what you think. I know everything you think, and nobody believes anything you said.
You want to know what you did to the boy after you hit him? You jerked the medal off his shirt. Then you rolled that sweet little boy off the wharf among the pilings.
None of what you said is true.
Oh, you know I'm telling the God's truth. You know I got this all figured out.
You figured out something that never happened. So it's all lies. Take your Excelsior down to the basement and put it where you sleep on it, where you're supposed to be working.
Well, he ain't no dope. That, I must say. That's why you didn't leave that stick where nobody could find it. No. You got better sense than that. No, you took that bloody stick and you washed it off real good. Then you threw it in the woods where nobody could see it.
I think you're a very silly man.
It was you who was silly because you thought you could wash off blood, but you can't.
Why can't you wash off blood?
Because you can't. Police know it. You can wash and wash, but there's always some left. Everybody knows that. I'm gonna call the police, and I'm gonna tell them to start looking for that stick in the woods. See, they got what they call them stick bloodhounds to help them look. Yeah. And them stick bloodhounds, see, they can find any stick there is that's got blood on it. So when they bring in that stick that you washed so clean, the police will just sprinkle their special blood powder over the stick, and the little boy's blood will show up. It'll show up a nice, a pretty blue color, like a robin's egg.
You're scared about the police yourself.
Shh.
What you say about me, it's all about you. They'll get you with that powder.
As far as I'm concerned, I wish there was more Excelsior. I could use it.
What were you
Oh, Miss Penmark, we was just talking. She said this was an awful big bag of Excelsior.
Just the same, you're not to speak to her. If you do, I'll report you. Is that entirely clear?
I started it, Mama. I told him it was a puzzle all about Asia. And I hardly know where anything is in Asia.
Very well. But you're not to speak to her.
Yes, ma'am.
You're really working in the dark here, Rhoda. I think you'll strain your eyes over these things here.
Mother, is it true that when blood's been washed off anything, a policeman can still find it if he puts powder on the place? Will it really turn blue?
Who's been talking to you about such things? Leroy?
No, it wasn't he. It was some men in the park that went by the gate.
I don't know how they test for blood, Rhoda. But I can ask Reginald Tasker or Miss Fern. She might know.
No, don't ask her. Nobody helps me. Nobody believes me. I'm your little girl and I'm all alone.
It isn't a very good act, Rhoda. You may improve it to convince someone who doesn't know you, but at present, it's easy to see through.
Maybe I better go to Monica's and have dinner.
Yes, she said any time. Good evening, Mr. Tasker.
Good evening.
This is my daughter, Rhoda.
Hello, Rhoda. Well, isn't she a little sweetheart?
Thank you.
You may go now, Rhoda.
Yes, Mommy.
That's a little ray of sunshine, that one, isn't she?
No, I've seen her stormy.
No doubt, but one day she's going to make some man very happy. Just that smile.
After I spoke with you, I received a wire from my father. He's coming here.
Bravo's coming?
Yes, it's a year since I've seen him.
Now, there's a man I've always wanted to meet.
Well, he should be here before long, perhaps for dinner.
Good. By the way, if you're really considering writing these mystery stories, Bravo is quite an authority on crime and criminals early in his career.
Yes, I know.
I mean, he could probably help you more than I could. Before he began covering the wars, he covered practically all the horror cases from Leopold and Loeb to Lindbergh.
What will it be?
Gin and tonic?
Good, I'll have it too. What I wanted to ask is a psychological question, and I doubt it's been asked or answered, if it has been until recently.
Well, I may not have all the answers.
Perhaps nobody does. But the story I'm wanting to write made me wonder. Do children ever commit murders? Or is crime something that's learned gradually and grows as the criminal grows up? So only adults really do dreadful things.
Well, I've often wondered that myself, and so have several authorities I've consulted lately. Yes, children do often commit murders, and quite clever ones too. Some murderers, particularly the distinguished ones who are going to make a great name for themselves, start amazingly early.
In childhood.
Oh yes, just like mathematicians, musicians, and poets. Well, poets develop later. Nothing worthwhile in poetry was ever written before 1820. But Mozart showed his genius at 6. Pascal was a master mathematician at 12. And some of the great criminals were top-flight operators before they ever got out of short pants and pinafores.
But they grew up in slums or amongst other criminals, so it was learned from their environment. Oh, I wonder if that could be Father.
If it is, I'd like to stay and see in a moment.
Oh, that's understood. Daddy!
Oh, darling, I'm early.
Oh, you're here. You're actually here.
I guess I'm something of a truant, but you said you wanted to see me, and I wanted to see you,
I'm
so...
so glad. Oh, Father, this is Reginald Tasker.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Puts you to sleep regularly.
Yeah, sometimes keeps me awake. You've done some impressive research for the Classic Crime Club.
Now, I always thought that the best papers they ever printed were by Richard Bravo.
Yeah, that old dodo. No, he's written himself out and talked himself out, and now he's drifting around the country working for a second-rate news service.
You really looking into the Southside Oil?
That's what they got me doing, but I took off and left him. Oh, for the moment, anyway. I wanted to see my long-lost daughter.
You know, I've always wanted to ask whether you consider coming back to the criminology racket. I mean, there's been no one like you since you left.
Well, all compliments aside, my later books didn't sell as well as the early ones, and the war came along. Now I write filler.
Well, you have written some things that won't be forgotten.
Let's hope.
Well, now your daughter's gonna try her hand.
In writing, you can't even spell.
I do get lonely here with Kenneth away, and I thought I'd try to work out a murder mystery in the evenings.
And you're encouraging this competition.
Well, I was rather stunned by her last question. See, she was asking whether criminal children were always a product of the environment.
Nothing difficult about that, little one. They are. Say, can I have some of this wicked mixture you're lapping up?
Of course, Daddy, I'm sorry. Do you really think they're always the product of environment?
Always.
Well, I couldn't prove you wrong, of course, but some doctor friends of mine assure me that we've all been putting too much emphasis on the environment and too little on heredity lately. I mean, they say there's a kind of criminal born with no capacity for remorse or guilt, born with the kind of brain that may have been normal among humans 50,000 years ago.
And you believe this?
Yes, I guess I do.
No, I don't.
Well, I've been convinced that there are people, only a few and certainly very unfortunate, who are incapable from the beginning of acquiring a conscience or a moral character. I mean, they're not even able to love except physically. They have no feeling for right or wrong.
Yeah, I've heard such assertions, but never found any evidence behind them. If you encounter a human without compassion or pity or morals, it's because he grew up where those things were encouraged. That's final and absolute. This stuff you're talking is Tommy rot.
Do your doctor friends have any evidence?
Well, they can't prove it yet, but they say that there are children born into the best families with every advantage in education and discipline that never actually acquire any moral scruples. I mean, it's as if they were born blind. You can't expect to teach them to see.
And do they look like brutes?
Are you sold on this?
I want to find out.
Well, oftentimes they do, but sometimes they paint a more convincing picture of virtue than normal folks. Like say a wax rosebud or a plastic peach. Sometimes they look more perfect than the real thing. They imitate humanity beautifully.
But that's horrible.
Well, some of them seem to have done some pretty horrible things and just kept right on looking innocent and sweet.
I'd like to examine the evidence. Until we do, there's not much sense discussing it.
Well, I would like to go into it with you, Mr. Bravo. This clinic that I frequent came long ago to the conclusion that there are bad seeds. I mean, just plain bad from the beginning, and nothing can change them.
And is this favorite murderess of yours, the one you were speaking of the other day, is she an instance?
Bessie Denker? Was she a bad seed? Huh. Well, good question. I mean, she certainly may have been, because the death started so early in her vicinity. I mean, she earned her sobriquet of the Destroying Angel in early childhood.
She began young.
Yes, the name wasn't applied to her until much later, after the whole story of her career came out. Bessie was lethal and accurate from the beginning. One of her most famous murders involved the use of a deadly Amanita, a mushroom known as the Destroying Angel. And then some clever reporter transferred the term over to her. It was a colleague of Mr. Bravo's, unless I missed something.
All right, it may have been. I don't know.
How did she end?
Well, Mr. Bravo knows more about it than I do.
Oh, I'm not at all. I've forgotten the whole thing. Put it out of my mind. I'm in oil now.
Tell me, how did she end?
You don't want to probe into this mess, sweetheart.
Yes, I do.
Can't we change the subject?
No, darling, I want to know. Tell us the rest of the story, Mr. Tasker.
Well, see, now there's the mystery. By the time the authorities got really roused about her, she just vanished, disappeared. She had quite a fortune by that time. The fellow that seems to know the most about her maintains that she went to Australia. A similar beauty emerged in Melbourne. Beulah Demarest, I believe, was the name. I mean, if it was the same person, at least you wouldn't have to change initials on her linen and silver, right?
Well, how did she kill so many and not leave a trace?
Well, you wrote a famous essay listing all of her methods. You must know it better than I do.
Not at all. I've dropped the whole thing. Haven't read the recent literature.
Did she ever use violence?
Forgive me, sir. I'll make it short. See, She made a specialty of poisons. She studied not only the drugs and the toxins, but the lives of those she wished to kill as well. I mean, it's practically impossible to prove the murder when the victim dies of rattlesnake venom in western Colorado. There's just too many diamondbacks about. And tetanus can be picked up in any barnyard. She made use of such things. But it all came to a sudden end when she was indicted again. I mean, she just packed up everything, leaving for parts unknown, leaving nothing but... Wait. There was a child, wasn't there? A little girl?
Never heard of one. That must be a recent addition to the myth.
I have one more question. Was she ever found out here?
Not in this country. 3 juries took one look at that lovely, dewy face and heard that melting, cultured voice. They said she couldn't have done it.
She wasn't convicted.
Not guilty, 3 times.
So you think she was one of these poor, deformed souls without any pity?
Personally, I do.
Did she have an enchanting smile?
Oh, dazzling by all accounts.
She was doomed.
Oh, absolutely. Doomed to commit murder after murder, till somehow or other she was found out.
She'd been better off if she'd died young.
Oh, and society would. But sometimes I wonder whether these malignant brutes are the mutation that survives on this planet in this age. I mean, in this age of technology and murder for empire, maybe the softies will have to go when the snake-hearted inherit the earth.
Oh, I'm betting on the democracies.
Well, so am I. But we are living in an age of murder. I mean, isn't it fascinating? Throughout all of history, there haven't been as many murders as there have been in our century. If you add up all the murders from the beginning of history, it's 1900. Then you add up all the murders after 1900. And then our century wins all alone with just... And on that merry note, I think I should take my leave, for I've been lecturing and I meant not to bother you.
You've a highly questionable theory there about heredity.
Well, I'd like to go into it with you when there's more time.
Let's do it the next time I'm in town.
Right. And now I'll say good evening. Mrs. Penmark, I'm afraid the pleasure's been all mine.
Not at all. I'll call you early in the week.
I'm always about. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Tasker.
Good night.
Are you really planning to write something?
I was just asking questions. You saw Kenneth in Washington?
Yes. He's looking well as possible when a fella's hot, sticky, tired, and most of all, lonesome.
We counted on going somewhere this summer, and there was a sudden change of orders.
Am I looking too close, or is there something heavy on your mind?
Does it show in my face?
Everything shows in your face. It always did.
I'm not sure I'm worried about anything now that you're here. I always felt so safe and comfortable when you were in the room, and you have the same effect now.
To tell you the truth, you always did a magic for me. I'd always wanted a little girl, and you were everything lovely a little girl could be for her old dad. But Christine, what did you want to ask me that night you phoned?
Let me think a minute. Would you like another drink?
Yes, I guess I will. Out here, let me fix something. Would you like some more gin and tonic?
Oh, no, thank you.
And speak up, darling. It's between us, whatever it is.
My landlady here is a sort of amateur psychiatrist, a devotee of Freud, constantly analyzing.
I know the sort.
Mrs. Breedlove. You'll meet her because she's offered you a wonderful room for you to stay in while you're here. Rhoda's having dinner with her tonight.
You were going to come out with something?
Yes. Well, what I wanted to ask you reminded me of her. I confessed to her the other day that I've always been worried about being an adopted child. That mother wasn't really my mommy, and the daddy I loved so much wasn't really my daddy.
Oh. What did she say?
She said it was one of the commonest fantasies of childhood. Everybody has it. She had it herself.
It certainly is common.
That doesn't help me. I still feel just as strongly as ever that old fear that you're not really mine.
Does something make you think of this lately?
Yes.
What is it?
My little girl, Rhoda.
about her?
She terrifies me. I'm afraid for her. I'm afraid of what she may have inherited from me.
Oh, what could she have inherited from you?
Father? Daddy? Whose child am I?
Mine.
Daddy dear, don't lie to me now. It's gone beyond where that can help. I've told you about this dream I have, and I'm not sure it's all a dream. Whose child am I? Are you my father? I know this is a strange thing to greet you with after being away so long, but I must ask it, and for Rhoda's sake and mine, you must tell me.
What has Rhoda done?
I don't know, but I'm afraid.
It cannot be inherited. It cannot.
Father, you're not well.
I'm all right. Just get me a glass of water. I'm perfectly fine. Just a touch of fibrillation once in a while. Perfectly normal at my age. Thank you. And with the fibrillation, there's a touch of dizziness, also normal. I'm all right now.
I won't ask any more questions, I'm sorry.
I think that's better. Let's just close the book.
Only I know the answer now.
The answer?
Yes.
I've always been a very fortunate man, Christine. I could tell you a long history of jobs that came in the nick of time, of lost money found, friends who came to repay old debts just when I had to have the money. At every major turning point in my life, some good fairy has seemed to intervene to flip things my way. The greatest piece of luck I ever had. Luck that saved my reason and kept me going. Was a little girl named Christine, who was the only child I ever had. My life was futile and barren before you came. You were magic for me, as I said, and you made life bearable. I changed my way of living. I wrote about other things, but I kept on because of you.
You don't have to say any more.
I don't, do I?
You found me somewhere.
Yes. In a very strange place, in a very strange way.
I know the place.
I don't think you could. You were less than 2 years old.
Well, either I remember it or I dreamed it.
What kind of dream?
I dream of a bedroom in a farmhouse in the countryside where there are orchards. I share the room with my brother, who is older than I, and it is that my mother comes to take care of us. She's a lovely woman, graceful like an angel. Afterward, my brother must have died because I'm alone in the room. One night I awake feeling terrified, and for some reason I can't stay in that house. I get out the window and drop down to the grass below and hide myself in the tall weeds there. comes up on the clouds, I can hear my mother calling my name some distance away, but I don't answer because I'm afraid. Is this a dream? Is this only a dream?
What name did she call?
It isn't Christine, could it be Ingle?
You remember that name?
Yes, it's coming back to me, Ingle Dinker. Tinker? Father, Mother, you've concealed something from me all these years, haven't you? I came from that terrible household. You found me there.
The neighbors found you after your mother vanished. Where she went, I never knew, nor did they. She had quite a fortune by that time, and something had panicked her, so she quickly got away, leaving behind one child. Astonishingly sweet and beautiful little thing, with the most enchanting smile I'd ever seen. I couldn't resist you.
Daddy. God, why did you leave me there?
Don't let it hurt you. It's past. It doesn't touch you.
Oh, I wish I had died then. I wish it.
It doesn't matter where you came from. You've been sweet and kind and loving. You've given me more than I ever gave or could ever repay. If you'd been my own, I couldn't have hoped for more. You've given love and kindness all your life. Kenneth loves you, and you've made him happy. And Rhoda's a perfect, sweet, sound little girl.
Is she, Father? Is she?
What has she done?
It's as if she were born blind.
No. No, it cannot happen. It does not happen.
Excuse me, but Rhoda has finished her dinner, tired of her puzzle, and now she wants a book.
Wow, we haven't even started yet.
Oh, and I haven't met Mr. Bravo. Hello, how do you do? I'm Monica Breedlove, the incorrigible analyst. I'm going to put you up, and I promise not to annoy you.
Well, you know what newspaper men are like, crusty, bitter, irascible. You can put up with me, you're a saint.
Granddaddy!
Rhoda.
Isn't she perfection?
Next to Daddy, you hug me the best. Why do you look at me?
I wanted to see your face.
You know, Mr. Bravo, these pin marks are the most enchanting neighbors I've ever had. Now, I want Rhoda for dinner every night. Sorry, Mr. Bravo, didn't you write the fingerprint series?
I'm afraid I was very guilty of that about 20 years ago.
Well, I read the first volume to pieces and wept over the parts that I loved until they were absolutely illegible. Then I bought another.
Well, I've found my public.
Well, I hope I don't disappoint you. Anyway, I'm quite loquacious.
I like the way you read books to pieces. It's good for royalties.
It's time to get dinner ready for us.
Perhaps I should find my room and get ready for the evening.
Oh, I'll take you upstairs now if you'd like to go.
If you'd be so kind.
Oh, please. I'll show you the way. It's just upstairs. Be back, Christine.
Is that for the incinerator?
Yes.
What is it?
It's something you told me to throw away.
Let me see what's in the package.
No.
Let me see it! You hit him with your shoes, didn't you? Didn't you? That's how the half-moon marks got on his forehead and hands. You hit him with these shoes! Answer me, answer me!
I hit him with one of the shoes. I had hit him with the shoes, Mother. What else could I do?
Do you know that you murdered him?
It was his fault. If he'd given me the medal like I told him to, I wouldn't have hit him.
Rhoda, tell me what happened. Start at the beginning and tell me. I know you killed him, so there's no sense in lying again. I want you to tell me the truth.
I can't, Mother. I can't tell you.
Rhoda! I'm waiting for your answer.
He wouldn't give me the medal like I told him to. That's all. So then he ran and hid on the wharf. But I found him there, and I told him I'd hit him with my shoes if he didn't give me the medal. He shook his head and said no. So I hit him the first time. Then he took the medal off and gave it to me.
What happened then?
Well, he tried to run away. So I hit him again. He kept crying and making noises. I was afraid somebody would hear him. So I hit him. I hit him harder this time, and he fell in the water.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
I've got the sweetest mother. I've got the nicest mother. That's what I tell everybody. I say I've got the sweetest mother.
How did the bruises get on the back of his hands?
He tried to pull himself back from the water. After he fell in the water, but I wouldn't hit him anymore. Only he kept saying he was going to tell on me. Oh, Mommy, Mommy, please don't let them hurt me.
I won't let them hurt you.
I want to play the way we used to, Mommy. Will you play with me? If I give you a basket of kisses.
Please, please, Rhoda.
Can't you give me an answer, Mother? If I give you a basket of kisses.
Go in your room and read a book. I must think of what to do. Rhoda! Don't tell anyone what you've told me.
Why would I tell him to get killed?
What happened to Mrs. Post in Baltimore? I know so much now, another one won't matter.
There was ice on the steps, and I slipped and fell against her. That's all.
That's all.
No, I slipped on purpose.
Rhoda, take these shoes and put them in the incinerator. Hurry, quickly, quickly burn them, Rhoda.
What will you do with the medal, Mother?
I must think of what to do.
You won't give it to Miss Fern.
No, I won't give it to Miss Fern.
Better answer the phone.
Hello? No, Mr. Bravo isn't here. He's upstairs.
Fire.
Yes, sir? I can write down a number. Yes, sir. I'll tell him. Goodbye. I found out about one lie you told. There's no such thing as stick bloodhounds.
I'm not supposed to talk to little Miss Goody Goody.
Then don't.
Where's your mama?
Upstairs.
Well, for your own sake, I'll tell you this much. There may not be any stick bloodhounds. There's still a stick. You better find that stick before they do. So it'll turn blue and they'll fry you in the electric chair.
There wasn't any stick any more than there are stick bloodhounds.
You know the noise the electric chair makes? It goes, Then you shrivel all up the way bacon does when your mama's frying it.
Go empty the garbage. They don't put little girls in the electric chair.
Well, they don't. They got them a little blue chair for little boys, and they got a little pink one for little girls. Hey, I just remembered something. Just the morning of the picnic, I wiped off your shoes. The ones with cleats on them. You just go tap, tap, tap down the walk. How come you don't wear them anymore?
You're silly. I've never had a pair of shoes like that.
Well, yeah, no, they used to go tap, tap when you walked. I didn't like them. I spilled water on them, but I wiped them off. Ow!
They hurt my feet, and I gave them away.
Okay, you know one thing? You didn't hit that boy with no stick. You hit him with them shoes. Ain't I right this time?
You're silly.
You think I'm silly because I said about the stick. All I was trying was to get you to say no, it wasn't no stick, it was my shoes, because I knew what it was.
You lie all the time. All the time.
How come I got them shoes then?
Where'd you get them?
Come in and got them? Right out of your apartment.
It's just my lies. I burned those shoes. I put them down the incinerator and burned them. Nobody's got them.
Huh. Well, I, don't say that wasn't smart, because that was. That was. Only suppose, now just suppose, that I was to hear something come rattling down that incinerator, and I was to say to myself, I says, well, that sure sounds to me like a pair of shoes with cleats on it. Now, I'm not saying you didn't burn them a little bit, but you didn't burn them all the way up like you wanted to.
Yes.
Now listen to this and figure out which of us is the silly one. Now me, I'm downstairs, I'm in the basement, I'm working. And I hear them shoes come rattling down the pipes. So I open the door, open it real quick, and there they is. Yeah, they're right there on top of the coals. And they're only smoking the least little bit. So I reach in, and I grab them out. Ooh, yeah, they're scorched some. There's still plenty left to turn blue, show where the blood was. There's still plenty left to put you in that electric chair.
Bring me back my shoes.
No. I got them shoes hid where nobody but me can find them.
Bring me back my shoes.
Oh, no, see, I ain't giving them shoes back to nobody. See?
You better give my
Who said I had any shoes except mine?
You did. You get them and bring them back here.
Listen, Rhoda, I was just fooling and teasing you. I haven't got any shoes. I got work to do.
Will you bring back my shoes?
I haven't got any shoes. Can't you tell when somebody's teasing you?
Bring them back.
You go practice your music lessons. I haven't got them, okay? I keep telling you that.
Will you bring them back?
I was just fooling at first, but now I really believe you did kill that little boy. I really believe you did kill him with your shoes.
You got them hid. You better get them. Bring them back here! Right here to me!
Are you talking so loud to me?
What were you saying to Leroy?
Nothing.
I heard you say bring them back here.
He said he had my shoes.
I haven't got nobody's shoes but my own. There's a number for Mr. Bravo to call.
You may go, Leroy.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
There's a message for you, Daddy.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Oh, yes. All right.
Look what I have for you, Rhoda. Turquoise.
Thank you, Aunt Monica.
And here's the garnet, too.
Hello, Murray. It's Richard. Look, I know I ran out on you, but it was imperative. Just couldn't wait. Uh-huh. Oh, well, what time does it leave? Yes. I've had breakfast. Well, if I caught a taxi right now, I could just make it. Yeah, I've never been on the rig. I'd like to see it. And remember, I've never missed a deadline. Think nothing of it. I'll be gone for a couple of days, but I'd like to make this my headquarters for the next couple of weeks, if I may.
Oh, as long as you can stand us.
Rhoda!
Yes, dear Daddy?
I'll be gone for a bit. You should patent your smile. It does unfair things to your elders. I really do have to go, but sweetheart, I'll pick up the taxi at the corner. You were the bright thing in my life, Christine. It was you I lived for. You I loved. No matter what happens, I want you to remember that. Don't worry. It will come out well.
Come back soon.
I will, sweetheart. My bag's upstairs. Don't come along. It'll be quicker.
What a trooper. And the ice cream man.
Mother, could I have a popsicle?
Yes, take the money from the shop.
It is hot outside today. The streets seem nearly deserted.
What have you got those for?
I guess I wasn't thinking.
I'll take them, please.
yourself lately. It's as if something's bringing you down.
Does it show to other people?
You mean you do feel it?
Yes.
Do you take vitamins regularly?
No.
Well, that's one thing we know. I have an awfully good combination, and I'll bring them down if I may. And now, please excuse me, but have you and Kenneth come to a parting of the ways? Is his secretary more than an expert on politics? Does she make a nest for him among the office buildings?
I wish I was as sure of other things as I am of Kenneth.
Then do you suspect something like cancer? Because if you do, we must face it and do all we can, and a lot can be done.
I'm perfectly healthy and sound as far as I can tell.
Do you sleep enough?
No, not always.
Well, that's something we can take care of. I'll bring down some sleeping pills. And now, Christine, dear, I won't bully you anymore. I just want to say that I love you truly and dearly, as if you were my own. In fact, Emery feels the same way, but I needn't tell you that. You know that already. Oh, Christine, dear Christine, what is it, darling? You can tell me. I'll get rid of whoever it is. Oh my God. Yes?
Well, Mrs. Breedlove. Hi. You don't want me here? I don't want to be here. But I couldn't stay away. So I got a little drunk and I came over. Excuse me, please.
You're welcome, of course.
Like a skunk. I know. Mrs. Breedlove here knows everything. Knows even me.
How are you, Mrs. Daigle?
I'm half seas over at the... I just came to have a talk with your little girl. She was the last to see my father alive.
Yes, I know.
Where do you keep the perfect little lady that was the last to see my Claude? I just thought I'd hold her in my arms and ask her a few questions, see if she remembers something, any little thing.
She's out playing.
I'm just unfortunate. Drunk and unfortunate. Only she was right outside, ladies and gentlemen.
She's not there anymore. I don't see her.
She was the perfect little lady. At least that's what I heard. You got anything to drink in the house? Anything at all? I'm not the fussy type. I prefer bourbon and water, but anything will do. Oh, ain't we swing? Really plaster and aster. What I came here for was to have a little talk with Rhoda, because she knows something. I've called Miss Fern on the telephone a dozen times, and she just gives me the brush off.
Are you all right?
I'm not intoxicated in the slightest degree. Kindly don't talk down to me, Mrs. Penmark. I've been through enough without all that.
Mother, I brought back change.
Very well. Mrs. Daigle is here to speak with you.
So this is your daughter? So you're Rhoda. Claude spoke of you so often and in such high terms. You're one of his dearest friends, I'm sure. He said you were the brightest in school. So you're Rhoda.
Yes.
Come, let me look at you. Now, how's about giving your Aunt Hortense a big hug? Now, you were with Claude when he had his accident, weren't you, darling? You were the little girl that was so sure she was going to win the penmanship medal, but you didn't win it, did you? Claude won the medal. Now, would you say Claude won the medal fair and square, or he cheated? Such things are so important to me now that he's dead. Would you say he won it fair? Because if he did, why did you go after him for it?
I want my popsicle.
Rhoda, if you're going shopping with me, you need to come down, dear. Mr. Patterson's going to show us his collection.
Right now?
Yes, we're late as it is. Here, Rhoda, take your popsicle. We'll wash upstairs.
Well, I must say,
They do have an appointment.
I'm sure they do, or practically sure. Of course, I didn't know Rhoda had all these social obligations. I thought she was like any other little girl that stayed at home and minded her mother and didn't go traipsing all about town with all these important appointments. I'm sorry, Christine, and I'll apologize to Rhoda too when I can have an interview with her.
You haven't interfered at all.
I wasn't gonna contaminate her, I assure you.
Hello? Hello, Mr. Daigle. Yes, she's here. I'll tell her.
Did you tell him I'd been drinking and making a spectacle of myself? Did you tell him to call the patrol wagon?
You heard what I said to him. I only said that you were here. He's at the drugstore on the corner.
I was just gonna hold her in my arms and ask her a few questions.
Perhaps another time would be better.
You think because I'm lit. I'm not lit in the slightest degree, I assure you. But Rhoda knows more than she's told anyone. I had a little talk with the guard, remember? And he said that he saw Rhoda on the wharf just before they found Claude on the pilings. She knows something, all right. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how can I get rid of this pest? You may fool some with that mealy mouth of yours, but you look like Ned in the Primer to me.
Perhaps you'd better not come here again.
I wouldn't come here again for $1 million laid out in the line. I wouldn't have come this time if I had known about Rhoda's social obligations. I won't wait on Mr. Daigle. I'll go home by myself. I know where I'm not wanted, and I'm not wanted anywhere where people have all these social obligations, if you know what I mean. You're looking kind of sick and sloppy. Why don't you come over to my house? I'll give you a free beauty treatment. Won't cost you a nickel. Oh God, it's time to go. It's time to go. Christine, you know something. You know something and you won't tell me.
Operator, I'd like to place a call to Washington, D.C. Kenneth, my dear love. What can I say to you? That our daughters... Never mind, cancel the call.
Good, she's gone. You'll have to forgive me, dear, for taking things into my all too capable hands, but I couldn't allow her to paw Rhoda any longer. And I fear I've lessened discipline just a bit. I allowed Rhoda to go down for another popsicle.
Did she want a second? It's most unusual.
Well, she seemed quite eager, and since she's not one of these fat, self-indulgent little blobs, I didn't see that it could do any harm. Oh, by the way, here are the vitamins and the sleeping pills, both plainly marked.
Thank you, Monica. I'll keep them separate.
Emery called while I was upstairs. He's coming by with Reggie Tasker to source some fishing equipment they bought this morning, so I'll make lunch for them. Wouldn't you like to eat with us? You and Rhoda both.
I'd really rather not.
You poor dear. I do bully you so, and I promise not to.
What is that?
It sounded like someone yelling fire. It sounded nearby.
Rhoda, who's shouting? I don't know, Mother. It sounds as if there were a fire. I don't think so, Mother.
Let me out of here!
There was a bed of Excelsior in the basement.
Excelsior burns like gasoline.
Right next to the incinerator.
Don't just stop playing the music, Monica. She's driving me mad. I can't bear it. Rhoda! Rhoda! Oh, how can she play that now? It's heartless. I can't bear it. I can't. Tell her to stop the music. What is this? Rhoda, stop that music! Is Mommy sick, Monica?
Oh, don't let me get my hands on her. You could look away and play the flute when it happened.
She's just a child. What has she done?
It's not what she's done. It's what I've done. What does she mean, Monica?
I don't know, dear. I'll take her upstairs and we'll have lunch up there. We'll stay till you're calmer.
Yes, take her, take her.
Will you be all right?
Yes, I'm all right. Only the screaming goes on and on.
Come down for you, dear.
She killed him. Oh, but she's my baby and I love her. Oh, baby, baby.
Polly put one toe out from under the covers to find out how cold it was. And it was nipping cold. She remembered why she had wanted to wake up and got out of bed very softly, shivering and pulling on her dress and her stockings. She had never seen a Christmas tree decorated and lighted the way they are at Christmas in houses where children have fathers and it isn't hard times. She had promised herself that she would see one. You have some new vitamins to take tonight, dear.
New ones?
Yes.
Are those the vitamins?
Yes,
May I see them, please?
of course. Monica sent them down for us.
Okay, Mommy. I think Monica likes me.
I'm sure she does.
Swallowing pills is just a trick.
You're very good at it.
Do you love me, Mommy?
Yes.
Do you know about Leroy?
Yes.
You told me to put my shoes in the incinerator, didn't you?
Yes.
Did you do something with the metal?
I drove out to Benedict to see Miss Fern and made up an excuse to go out on the pier alone and dropped it in the water there.
Mommy, Leroy said he had my shoes, and he was going to give them to the police and tell them about me, and they put me in the electric chair. So I had to.
You don't have to say any more.
Will you read more?
Yes. But first you have to take these.
So many?
They're a new kind. I'm to take them too.
them hurt me, Mommy? I won't let them hurt me. I like apricot juice. It doesn't need ice. Mommy, I took another box of matches. I lit the Excelsior, and I locked the door. Mommy, it wasn't my fault. It was Leroy's fault. He shouldn't have said he'd tell the police and give them my shoes.
I know.
There. That's all. Don't let them hurt me.
Darling, I won't let them hurt you. Good night.
Good night, Mommy. Now will you read more?
Yes.
Polly was all dressed. She found her shawl and crept very quietly out of the room and out the front door. The door creaked and she waited and listened, but nobody woke up. She closed the door carefully and looked at the bright moon and the shining cold snow. The Carters must have a tree. They lived 2 blocks away, and if they left the curtains open, you could look in it and see it, if only there weren't any dogs. Polly walked carefully on the hard snow on the walk, keeping the warm shawl close around her. It was further than she remembered to the Carters' house, but she could see that there were lights in the windows. She came near it, only making a little creaking noise on the snow, and stood for a while in front of the house before she dared go near. Then she gathered all her courage and walked across the yard, her shoes sinking through the crust. The Christmas tree was right in the front window, and the lights were on in the house, so she could see the fruits and bells and the strings of popcorn and candy and the silver star at the top. Rhoda, my dear Rhoda, you are mine, and I carried you, and I can't let them hurt you. I can't let them take you away and lock you up. They put you in some kind of institution. Nobody can save you from that unless I save you. So sleep well and dream well. My only child and the one I love. I shall sleep too.
That's a thought.
I'm in favor.
Kenneth, coffee? Kenneth?
Thanks, Mom. Not much space living without her. You know, I could almost believe she was still with me until they lowered that coffin into the earth. Now I know I'll never see her face again. And the earth is empty. I'm empty.
Because I'm just all feeling pretty much the same way.
Why did she do it? Why in God's name would she do such a thing? She wasn't unhappy when I left. Because she was closer to you than anyone else. Did she say anything at all? Give any sort of a reason?
I've gone over and over everything she said till I'm nearly distracted. I can't see a pattern. And I talked to everyone who knew her, and they're just incredulous and shocked. There just doesn't seem to be a reason.
What's the reason? She didn't do things without a reason. Her father died suddenly, you said?
He had a series of attacks, and I guess the news of Christine's death was just too much for his heart.
She had some kind of worry or other, and I think it was connected to her father.
Well, I know she brooded over the death of the Dago boy, and then the death of Leroy.
Well, she was hysterical at the time of the fire, but that's understandable.
It happened. How did you find her? Did you hear the shots?
Yes, I heard the shot and we ran downstairs. She shot herself after giving Rhoda a deadly dose of sleeping pills. She'd obviously intended that they should die together.
Could Christine have been insane?
No, we can rule that out. I mean, she shuddered somewhat at my murder stories, but her responses were completely level-headed.
No, Christine wasn't crazy.
Wow. No matter will.
Yes, nothing else.
Nothing. It's not much good without Christine. The army, career, emotion. It was Christine that kept me afloat, not any of that.
She's a wonderful girl.
She left me. Crept away to the earth. I don't know why.
You can cry if you want to, dear. She was worth it.
She didn't want to live.
Kenneth, you have a lot to be grateful for. If we hadn't heard the shot, you might have lost Rhoda too.
Did you like it, Daddy? I played it for you.
There's still a little bit of Christine left. It's in your smile.
I love you, Daddy. What will you give me for a basket of kisses?
Darling, for a basket of kisses. I'll give you a basket of hugs.
I was 5 and he was 6. We rode on horses, made sticks.
Nothing like a good comedy.
You
Get you
know,
through the
yeah.
weekend.
They hugged me, they're like, literally, like, I did it!
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
I love you. What are you doing?
Thank you.
Next week is unemployment.
Thank you very much.
I've never been to Mexico because I've always had a conflict.
Right. That was why we didn't have a program, so it'd be a big surprise. My big M2 reveal.